Hello, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. It is Business Edition, and we are live, coming to you live from our studios here at Boni Accra, and we are across the country live on DS Channel 2 doubles. Today, we are going to have a critical look at National Single Window Project. Who actually is handling or implementing the Single Window Project, or what, is it in existence already, or is it now going to be put in place by a company as it is in the news? We would have a critical look at that with one of the IT companies that are at the port. So stick and stay with us. We have a lot of details coming up for you tonight. But before we do that, we would have a look at the top stories which are making round in the world of business for tonight.
The Chinese government has dangled a staggering $15 billion before the eyes of a government busy fighting off illegal miners, including Chinese nationals. Ghana in exchange wants to roll out the red carpet to Chinese investors to come in for rich natural resources, some of which are being harassed by illegal miners. Returning from his 4-day visit to China, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said at a Sunday press briefing at the Jubilee launch of the Kotoka International Airport, Ghana needs to leverage its natural resources. Dr. Bawumia said it makes economic sense for Ghana to use what it has to get what it needs, money. A further $4 billion will be expected soon. Google has been fined 2.42 billion euros, an equivalent of $2.7 billion, by the European Commission after it ruled the company had abused its power by promoting its own shopping comparison service at the top of search results. The amount is the regulator's largest penalty to date against a company accused of distorting the market. The ruling also orders Google to end its anti-competitive practices within 90 days or face a further penalty. The US firm said it may appeal. However, if it fails to change the way it operates the shopping service within the 3-month deadline, it could be forced to make payments of 5% of its parent company, Alphabet's average daily worldwide earnings, based on the company's most recent financial report that amounts to about $14 million a day. Western Digital has resubmitted its bid for Toshiba's flagship flash memory unit amid a battle over the sale of the business. The new offer is understood to be in the region of 2 trillion yen, an equivalent of 14 billion pounds. Toshiba needs to sell the unit after an accounting scandal and cost overruns at its Westinghouse nuclear unit. Western Digital, which jointly runs Toshiba's main semiconductor plant, has been feuding bitterly with its Japanese partner. It has sought a US court injunction to prevent any deal that does not have its consent, but Toshiba wants to sell to a different bidder. Volvo Cars and Swedish car safety supplier Autoliv have signed a deal with US firm Nvidia Corporation, best known for its graphics technology in computer games, to develop software systems for self-driving cars. A joint venture between Volvo, owned by China's Zhejiang Geely Holdings, and Autoliv will work with Nvidia to develop systems that use artificial intelligence to recognize objects around vehicles, anticipate threats, and navigate safely. The venture set up last year, called Zenuity, will provide Volvo cars with self-driving software, which Autoliv will also be able to sell to other car makers. Volvo said it aims to have almost fully autonomous cars for sale by 2021. The machine making it easy to deposit and withdraw money turns 50 on Tuesday. The automated teller machine, more commonly referred to as an ATM, is celebrating its 50th birthday. The first ATM made its debut in London and has become a global piece of technology. There are more than 3 million ATMs around the world today. The US Government Accountability Office says there are more than 420,000 ATMs in the United States alone. These machines are responsible for more than 3 million transactions each year.
Remind you that we are also live on Facebook. You can get to my page, Kwasi Free, or get to the business page, Business Edition on Facebook. We are streaming live. You can post your comments and we will read. So tonight, as I introduced to you earlier, we're having a critical look at how the ports, Tema ports, Takoradi ports, the Ghana airports and everything is being managed. How the ICT companies who we know or that we know are managing activities at the port. We are hearing a lot of activities about a national single window project. Some tell us that it is now coming on board, but others argue that it is already in existence, and what the Vice President is pushing for is already in play. Tonight, we engage one company that has been in existence for a very long period, and they tell us that they have been able to implement what people are proposing. We want to see whether they have actually been able to do that. And so I have in the studio here with me Carl Saki, who is a product development manager of GCNet. Thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome,
this evening, Carl.
Thank you very much.
This is your first time on the show.
Yeah, this show.
We haven't had you on before, but we are grateful to have had you tonight.
Thank you very much.
To start with, we'll come to the details of what we have to discuss. But tell us about GCNet. If we hear GCNet, myself, for instance, I've heard it and I've seen it on a number of cars, GCNet and all of that. What is GCNet?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. GCNet is actually, I'd like to use the only properly recognizable public-private partnership in Ghana. It's actually been acknowledged.
I like your statement. So can we get that well? The only publicly
recognized PPP in Ghana. It's actually acknowledged. It's used as the case study for public-private partnership.
Why do you say so?
You know, Ghana government owns 35% of GCNet. And then you have the private sector owning the remaining 65. And this company has gone to win awards for being an example of PPP. And its World Bank has actually used GCNet as a case study for other companies to emulate. So countries are supposed to look at GCNet and try to do the same thing. That's why we're proud of GCNet.
What do you do as GCNet?
You know, GCNet as an entity was incorporated in 2000. Basically, our mandate was to provide a customs management system, but also to provide the platform or the TradeNet, which is the platform to interface all the other entities. So you have the customs house brokers, the shipping lines, freight stations, terminals, to provide electronic communication and also to provide a single window, and then also to interface the ministries, department, and agencies, so what we call the EMDA. That's what GCNet does, and that's GCNet's core mandate, which we've been working on all this time.
So for lay people like us, you manage the ports?
We provide the systems that run the port.
You are the ICT company for the ports?
We are the ICT company for port. I mean, not only the port, but basically on the land borders, wherever you go, even if you're doing, let's say, the transit along the corridor, you have GCNet in intervening stations where customs actually checks, basically.
Which means you are an integral part of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Oh, yes. I mean,
and how does that work? Can you explain?
Ghana Revenue Authority actually owns 20% of GCNet.
The Ghana Revenue Authority?
Yes.
Owns 20% of
Customs
GCNet.
owns 20% of GCNet.
And that's different from the 35% which is owned by government.
That's part of the 35%.
Part
so 20% is Customs, 10% Ghana Shippers Authority, 5% Ghana Commercial Bank. So we are very unique.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing all this while? From, you told me over 20 years ago you were established and you have been managing ICT at the ports. Can you explain to us bit by bit from 20 years ago, 15 years, 10 years up to now? Tell us about it.
Okay, so let me just explain. You know, we started in 2002. That's when operations...
2002.
When operations actually started, even though the company was incorporated in 2000. Okay, you remember there's a lot of development work that has to go on. There's a lot of sensitization.
So that's actually 15 years.
Yes.
So I said 20 years.
20 years.
Let's put it 15
we are
years.
not that old yet, but we'll get there. Yes. Okay, and so basically what we've been doing all this time, first we started our operations in airport. You need to build infrastructure. Okay, so every customs location that we go to, we build the network. We actually have to refurbish the offices that you see, air conditioners, tables, the network that goes to the place, the computer systems that are required to be used for the operations. There's a lot of training, and then we deploy the system. So we started with the airport, which started with manifest, electronic manifest, and then the customs operations to work with the manifest. Because if there's no manifest, the customs operations will not work.
What is manifest? For lay people like us?
Yeah, so let me just say, a manifest is basically is a document. It's an international document which says that I'm a vessel, and vessel could be a car, a train, a ship, an aeroplane, that I am coming to this particular country. These are the items I'm bringing. So the manifest actually carries what you call your bill of lading. So your airway bill or the bill of lading. So it states where the goods are coming from, the voyage, we use voyages for vessels, aeroplane and ships. So the voyage, who the captain is, all that type of information, and then the consignees. Okay, so who is the beneficiary of the consignment that is coming in. So it started with that electronically, and then the customs processes that go with it. The clearance, so you start where the importer or the clearing agents for that matter. So customs house broker would then go and sit behind the computer and prepare electronically the entry where he's stating his intention that I am going to clear this consignment. These are the, because remember in Ghana we do the self-assessment. So these are the items I brought. This is the invoice. These are the packing list, airway bill. It's sent to customs electronically, and then the officer then does the rest.
And before that, everything was being done on paper.
Oh yes, I mean, if we want to talk about the different steps and the amount of
yes,
paper,
I want to go through that, the different steps. Can you take me through the different steps? You have been there 15 years, because I'm going to eventually arrive at a question.
Oh sure.
The vice president went to the Tema port, and the vice president has been talking about having a paperless business environment, particularly at the port and all of that. And we have also heard about the Ghana National Single Window, which is supposed to move everything from the cluster that we have at the port into one single system. So I want you to take me through, you have been there 15 years.
Yes.
Take me through the systems that you have had, that we should now be talking about a Ghana National Single Window. Because if you are not able to take me through, my question will not be very meaningful. But if you take me through, and then you are not able to answer my question, then we get to a point.
Don't worry, I'm going to answer your question.
So
you have nothing to worry about.
Let's
okay. So the process, as we started, like I explained, started in the airport, and then we later on moved to all the customs collections countrywide. Okay, let me just...
So you're across the country now?
Yes, we're across the country.
Everywhere in the country?
Paga, Kulungugu, Hamile, Gonokrom, we're everywhere.
Wow.
Yes.
Let's work. So.
Okay. So the process starts with what I call the manifest, okay, where an airline or shipping line submits the cargo list. So it's basically a listing of the cargo. They submit it to the customs system. The system does some processing, and then importers can now start their processing. And I want to take you back to the processing, where there's one point where I need to, as an importer, I'll have to go for values, which states that this is what we are assessing the duties and taxes you have to pay to be. Hitherto, it used to be the destination inspection companies until they were phased out 2 years ago, and then where the pre-arrival assessment system, the PASS system, came in.
Okay? Yeah, so I have heard of the DICs.
Good.
And then the PASS.
The PASS.
Okay.
So, but the operations are not too different, because what they do basically is to pick your invoice, your shipping documents, and then they'll look at the item, so invoice, bill of lading, and then they proffer an opinion. We say, look, this is what we think the duties and taxes are. These are the goods you're bringing, and so this is the valuation we give to you.
So when I'm bringing my 2012 Toyota Corolla, they tell me I have to pay a duty of 18,000 Ghana cedis,
well, that's
which is outrageous.
You have to look at it from many different perspectives. Would I call it outrageous? I don't know. But
for us,
exactly.
the people outside, we think it is outrageous. Heavy duties and all of that.
No, we'll talk about that at another time.
We'll come to that
and so the assessment is done, the value is given to you, and then you go and submit your customs declaration. Because when you're doing a customs declaration, why we call it self-assessment is because you are saying that I, Carl Saki, say these are the consignments I'm bringing in. This is the value. I declare that I am making, it's whatever I've put here is the correct thing, blah, blah, blah. And then I submit to customs. The customs system validates that. It checks the duties and taxes. you pay your duties and